Texas is taking another L, and I'm going to tell you, I get tired of seeing our state come up in these news feeds, but nonetheless, these stories are important. They got to be talked about. A place called Tomball, Texas. I haven't really heard of it, but I think it's kind of in the southern regions, kind of northwest of Houston in that area. But there is a mother who is facing some very, very glaring charges. So I'm going to give you guys some details, but I'm going to tell you it might rock you to the core. So I have to forewarn you about this type of content, that you might find my content controversial or offensive. This information is coming from credible sources. This story is coming from khou.com. So thank you for the article. This video commentary also contains my personal opinion about the facts of this story. The point is to use this as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like this going forward to children. Viewer discretion is advised, and that is your official disclaimer. And let me tell you guys this. For anybody who wants to get in their feelings talking about, well, Jay, you crack on criminals' looks too much. You talk bad about people. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Let me tell y'all this. I don't give a flying you know what about anybody who hurts, murders, or abuses children. And if you feel the need to defend people like that, then maybe you should have a foot up your behind and be pulling out shoelaces out of your butt. Because for the life of me, and I'm trying to keep this clean, because I ain't gonna lie, look, I'm trying to keep my channel up, and I don't know how long it's gonna stay up, but I'm doing the best that I can to try to be a little PG-13 here, okay? But I think some people who have watched me long enough know how I feel about this type of thing. And for the life of me, people who defend folks who are accused of doing the most heinous things, and I'm going to tell you, in this case, there is a lot of really, really bad accusations about this woman who was accused of killing her 5-year-old daughter in Tomball, Texas, and she has been charged with capital murder. So if you guys aren't familiar with capital murder, that means that they have very strong evidence that they can show in court that's going to say she killed this person without a doubt, with intention and premeditation. That's going to be probably, especially in the state of Texas, worse than a life sentence. Probably, that sounds like a death sentence to me, if you ask me. But Melissa Towne, who is 37 years old, which is this alleged mother. Let me get her stupid ass face back up on the screen so y'all can see her stupid ass face, right? This woman right here who wants some freaking sympathy. She confessed to killing her daughter during questioning on Sunday. She waived her right to face a judge Monday morning, and her bond is set at a number that I have never even heard of. $15 million. If y'all look at this woman's face, she looks destitute. She looks homeless. If you set her bond at $10,000, I'm not too sure that she'd be able to go get 10% to pay a bail bondsman to get her out. And I'm saying that for a reason, because I don't think she had a lot of money. The charges are serious. I get that. But you just have to look at some people. Sometimes you could judge a book up by its cover. Sometimes. And when you look at this book, you'd ask yourself, where the hell would she get any millions of dollars to get a bond to get out of prison? Who would put up that kind of money? Even if she had it. 15 million? I'm glad that, look, I told y'all Texas has super aggravated child abuse laws. Beautiful thing. But $15 million, I'm just like, what's the point? Just give her no bond. I don't really understand that. In court, it was revealed that this alleged mother, and I'm ad-libbing that, the alleged mother made a conscious decision to end her daughter's life. And y'all better brace yourself, because this might bother you. Records show that she took her daughter, whose name is Nicole, and that's the beautiful baby Nicole right there. And I think Nicole's last name is the same as her mother, if I'm not mistaken, Nicole Towne. But she took her daughter to the woods at Spring Creek Park. Towne said Nicole was evil and didn't want to deal with her anymore. And this begs the question, where was the biological, not only where was the biological father, but who was the actual custodial parent? Because I'm not so sure that she was. But there had to have been another parent involved in this child's life. Like, I don't think that she was just a single mom, didn't have any help, and then just decided to do something like this. Now, according to court records, Towne told little Nicole to get on her knees while pulling a knife out of her bag. Nicole fought back. This baby fought back. And she told her mom, and this is the part that broke me down to tears earlier when I heard it in the news videos. And she looked in her mom's eyes and she said, "Mama, I've been a good girl." That baby right there. She said, "Mommy, I've been good." And I'm going to read that quote here in just a second. That's when authorities said that Towne slit her own daughter's throat. When she didn't die after that, Towne put a trash bag on her head to suffocate her and strangle her for approximately 30 to 45 minutes. I don't even know how you estimate and miss a time frame like 15 whole freaking minutes. I can understand if you can miss maybe a minute or two. How do you miss 15 minutes of choking a baby? That's all according to court documents, and a knife was found in Towne's pocket, authorities said. I know that was hard to hear, guys. Like, that's heartbreaking, and don't be afraid to cleanse. If you need to cry, cry, but I need y'all to hear these stories because they're very important. We can watch First 48 all damn day long, but somehow we're bothered by listening to these stories. We owe it to baby Nicole to hear her story and hear how she fought off her own evil ass mom who made a premeditated choice to end this baby's life. We owe it to her to hear her story. Let's keep going. According to investigators, Towne drove the little girl Nicole to Tomball emergency room and asked the hospital staff for a wheelchair for her child, telling the staff that her body was hurting. An ER nurse walked out to Towne's Jeep and discovered Nicole wrapped in plastic and a bag, according to court documents. Investigators said that she had visible cuts to her neck, and doctors pronounced her dead minutes later. Investigators said Towne admitted to Tomball police that she had killed Nicole at Spring Creek Park before driving her to the hospital, but authorities said that they weren't able to find any signs of a crime scene at the park. In court, it was revealed that Towne is not the custodial parent, and that's why we're going to talk about this GoFundMe here in just a second. So stand by on that. Let me say that again. In court, hashtag not my words, it was revealed that this BITCH was not the custodial parent. I want to let that sink in just for a moment. Which begs the question, who was the custodial parent? Why did the custodial parent let this woman see this child, knowing that this woman had lost custody of this child for a reason? And you turn around and allow this child, unless she kidnapped her, that's the only way I can see this being different. But if you were the custodial parent, I don't know whether it was the aunt or the dad or grandma or whomever, but whomever had custody of this kid and allowed this kid to go into their custody, I think they should be investigated too. Maybe they shouldn't have to do jail time, but they absolutely should be investigated. And I need to have an answer as to why. Why would you let this woman have custody of this child knowing that she did not need to have custody of this child? Okay. Here's what Child Protective Services said. Child Protective Services is investigating the tragic death alongside law enforcement. The child's mother, Melissa Towne, does have prior history with CPS. Let me say it again. She does. It is confirmed that she does have prior history with CPS. But specific details of CPS investigations are confidential according to law. Ms. Towne has 3 additional children, ranging in age of 2 years old all the way up to 18 years old, all who are safe and have been living with other family members. So they didn't specify who the kids are actually leaving with. So here's what you'd have to ask. Are all the kids by one person or are the kids by different people? And if so, why is it that you allow this little girl to go stay with this woman who's clearly not fit to be a parent? The family of Nicole's father, James Bradshaw Jr., issued the statement. We are devastated and in complete shock over the loss of Nicole. We ask for privacy and respect for Nicole's father, James Bradshaw Jr., and our family as we all figure out how to grieve her horrible loss and try to figure out how to go on from here. Nicole has grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and a father that all loved her dearly and never thought such a tragic event would happen to such an innocent child. She will always have a special place in our hearts. We will always remember her as the sweetest little girl who never met a stranger. And she looks like a happy little girl. She was so full of love and giggles, and her bright blue eyes shined so full of curiosity. We're hoping and praying justice will be served, and the heartless monster, of course they're referring to the mom, who took our sweet girl away from us, pay for the innocent life that she took. There is a GoFundMe account set up for anybody who would like to help with funeral costs for Nicole. No one ever expects something this devastating to happen to them. We greatly appreciate any and all donations for our services and ask that you please lift our family up in your prayers as we cope with the horrible loss of our sweet Nicole. And let me get that GoFundMe up here for those who'd like to see that. That is, because there was a couple of updates. Let me see which one is which. That one's old. Okay, this one's a little more current. So if you look at this GoFundMe, within 2 days, they reached their goal. They were asking for $10,000, so I'm assuming none of these children have life insurance, I'm going to assume. But they did put up a $10,000 GoFundMe. People who saw the story within 48 hours raised $12,870. Bury my niece who was murdered by, and then they didn't say by who. I'm going to read this title again. It says, Bury my niece. And I'm just curious, just by that wording, is anybody else offended by that? To me, it sounds like, because I'm a words person, it sounds like society, y'all bury my niece. She's my family, and I want y'all to pay for her burial. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm offended by the wording, but maybe nobody else saw it that way. Bury my niece is more or less a imperative statement to say, like, this is not my responsibility. Well, here's the thing about death. Whether it comes in the form of this or in the form of something more natural, we all will pass away at some point. I believe that it is the individual's responsibility, the parent's responsibility, and the family circle's responsibility to bury our loved ones, not society. That is not society's job to do that. Now, here's the difference before y'all go get mad. Oh, I'm going to flag Jay. I'm not mad at him for what he said. Yeah. Before you go jumping off your rocker and go cussing me out in the chat, I get it. This is sad. And if you want to post and if you want to donate, then fine. Please do so. I'm just saying that there is a better way to go about doing this. And I would much rather have seen this baby have $10,000 in her college fund than in her funeral. Uh-oh. Let me say that again. For those who don't understand my point, I would have rather have seen somebody financially support baby Nicole while she was alive to the tune of $12,800. Put it towards her living, put it towards her school clothes, put it towards her education, laptops, tablets, whatever it is, glasses, health care, right? Why is it, and this is the part that a lot of people really don't understand about me and why I say what I say about these GoFundMes, and this is probably about the plainest that I can say it. And this is the part that if y'all were ever going to timestamp a part, timestamp this. Here's why. We are so quick to support death that we don't care about life. And that, to me, is confusing. If life is precious, if lives matter, if babies' lives matter, then why don't we show them that they matter while they're alive? Why do we wait till something tragic happens and now we want to give them the most wonderful funeral ever that they would never get to see, that they would never get to feel, that they would never get to experience? Is that to soothe our conscience? Because we know that we have children in this world that have shitty books, that have shitty desks, that have shitty walls, that have asbestos in their schools, that have lead in the paint that's in the walls, that have crappy, pissy, smelly bathrooms, that can't pay teachers enough to teach these kids properly. Is that a way to soothe our conscience? That we want to make it seem like we're doing good deeds? Is that our way of appeasing God to say, look, God, we did something good for this little girl? And if I could hear the sound of God's voice, and if you could hear him through me, here's what I think he would say. Use this as a cautionary tale and take care of your babies while they're living. How about that? You want to make a difference? Make a difference in the living children's lives that are here now. For those who might not know some of my personal story, here's what I can say. And y'all know I get real somber in these moments because they matter. And this is what I really hope that people show up to these live streams for. Not to just hear the story, but for us to learn something. I became more or less a father to a little girl whose father didn't want her. She calls me dad. And you know what I said to that? Okay. That's why I wish there were 100 of me, 1,000 of me. Because for every kid that wants a male figure, that wants a father figure, that wants a parental figure, a positive figure, somebody who just gives a crap, I would give that to any and all children who would want that, who would reach out to me. Because I don't want to turn any kids down. Because as society, they all need us. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Some of the most precious things that you can do with children, you want to know something very simple? Listen to them and pay attention to them. Kids are easy. Feed them, clothe them, bathe them, provide them shelter, housing, and protection. Listen to them. Pay attention to them. I think about my ex-girlfriend I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Her little daughter used to do the cutest thing ever. She wanted me to see her dance and do these little flips. And to the average person, you might think, oh, well, that's silly. That's silly, right? But to this little girl, she was having the time of her life. At her house, simple setting, nothing really going on. And she just doing these little twirls, playing this little song she had and doing these little flips. Like, look at me, look at me. I gave her all the attention that she wanted. Why? Because it's the simplest thing that we can do. It's easy, and it means so much to the kids. Right? Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And by the way, I would hope that you guys understand my message. An easy way to do that is just to click that thumbs up. Just show some love. Doesn't take much time. Do that for me. Hit that thumbs up, okay? Here we go. Let's listen up.
We are learning new details about the tragic death of a 5-year-old girl. Investigators say her own mother stabbed her to death on Sunday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Keith Garvin.
And I'm Daniela Guzman. It's a very tough story to tell, but new tonight, a woman says she reported the signs of abuse the child was suffering at the hands of her own mother. But sadly, her reports did not save the child's life. Our Devin Clark is live tonight just outside of the CPS offices near NRG with these developments. Devin?
Daniela, Keith, the woman who identified herself as the child's babysitter, says all the writings were on the wall. And like you mentioned, she did tell Child Protective Services about possible signs of abuse. She says that if more action would have been taken, that child could still be alive today.
She's super smart, always. She loved talking about dinosaurs.
This woman who asked not to be identified is speaking about 5-year-old Nicole Towne, who she says she babysat. Family posted this picture of her in a GoFundMe account now set up. Investigators say the child's 37-year-old mother, Melissa Towne, admitted to stabbing the little girl to death at Spring Creek Park in Tomball Sunday afternoon, before she told them she made a conscious decision and needed to end the child's life. The babysitter says weeks before that, the child showed signs of being abused.
Scarring and like open bug bites. It looked like all over her body. And then she was complaining of pains.
The babysitter says she contacted Child Protective Services.
On October 5th, they took my statement or whatever, and then they told me someone would be in contact with me. October 6th, they contacted me.
She says she was told that nothing could be done without the child's address, even though she gave them the father's name.
It angers me.
She says she didn't have the address because she would pick the child up from her father, who had custody, at a gas station.
We follow the same page on Facebook called Ask Tombo, and he was looking for a babysitter, so I had messaged him on there.
While she says the little girl didn't explicitly tell her who was abusing her, she did hint that something was wrong.
She always constantly told me she did not want to go home.
Did she ever tell you why?
She just kept saying that her family doesn't trust her.
Officials say Towne told them while she was stabbing her daughter to death, the child yelled out, "I've been good," and she replied, "Stop fighting it." Now the little girl is dead.
I feel like the system failed her.
CPS officials say there is a history with Towne, who has other children staying with relatives, but they would not go into details about the alleged calls that were.
Now to the disturbing new details about the mother accused of stabbing her 5-year-old daughter to death.
This morning, a judge charged her with murder and set her bond at $15 million, and Child Protective Services confirms it is investigating. Now, a spokesperson just released a statement saying in part, quote, the child's mother, Melissa Towne, does have prior history with CPS. Ms. Towne has 3 additional children ranging in age from 2 years old to 18 years old. Have prior history with the Towne does have prior history with CPS. The Towne does have prior history with CPS. Ms. Towne has 3 additional children ranging in age from 2 years old to 18 years old who are safe and have been living with other family members. KPRC2's Robon Belogan has the details now from Montgomery County.
This is the neighborhood Melissa Towne lived. Neighbors tell me they are shocked to learn the woman is accused of killing her 5-year-old daughter. One adds that she tried to get the woman help multiple times.
And so I'm sad, I'm sad that this child died.
A $15 million bond set for the woman accused of killing her 5-year-old daughter. Melissa Towne did not appear during her first court appearance as an official with the district attorney's office read the disturbing details of the case.
Officers stated that the defendant made a non-custodial statement to that officer stating that she made a conscious decision and needed to end the child's life.
In court, officials claim Towne called her daughter evil and, quotes, didn't want to deal with her anymore. Investigators say the 37-year-old told them she killed her daughter at Spring Creek Park in Tomball.
The defendant stated that the complainant yelled, "I've been good," and the defendant replied, "Stop fighting it."
Neighbors, who KPRC2 is not identifying, state they called police on the mother on multiple occasions.
We called the cops several times, and it was the sheriff's department that came out, and she told me she had signed herself out of psych wards. She told me that her family had her oldest daughter and kept her from her.
The neighbor now wrestling if something could have been done sooner to prevent.
Now to the disturbing new detail.
So for the record, Ms. Towne is charged with capital murder of a child under 10 years old. Ms. Kennedy, state's position, please.
Your Honor, in this case, the state filed a motion requesting a no bond as the defendant is currently charged with a capital offense.
So this is actually some of the court proceeding. I don't think she was actually here for this, but I'm going to see if you guys can hear this. If not, then I might have to skip it, but here we go.
The state is against a pretrial release, requesting to refer the decision of bond to the district court. A few facts from the case. The offense date is going to be October 16th, 2022. Officers were dispatched in reference to a deceased 5-year-old child. When officers arrived, they made contact with the mother of the deceased child, later identified as the defendant. Officers stated that the defendant made a non-custodial statement to that officer, stating that she made a conscious decision and needed to end the child's life. The officers stated that the defendant told them the offense occurred at Spring Creek Park. When officers detained the defendant, conducted a pat-down for weapons, found a knife in the defendant's pocket. A doctor at the hospital pronounced the child deceased. Officers located the complainant lying in the floorboard of the passenger side of a motor vehicle, inside of a laundry mesh bag covered with a blanket. Officers spoke with a nurse who stated that the defendant approached her asking for a wheelchair for her daughter. The nurse asked the defendant what was wrong with the daughter. The defendant stated that her body was hurting. The nurse proceeded outside to the defendant's vehicle, found the complainant lying inside of a laundry mesh bag on the floorboard of the passenger side. The nurse stated that she opened the laundry mesh bag, turned the complainant over to where she saw that her throat had a laceration. The nurse stated that there was bruising around her neck, eyes, and mouth. Officers then transported the defendant to the police station, conducted a custodial interview, read the defendant her Texas statutory warnings. The defendant admitted to taking her daughter, the complainant, to the park. The defendant stated she drove her motor vehicle toward the ravine inside of the park. The defendant stated they exited the vehicle. She grabbed a bag that contained a knife, trash bag, and a laundry mesh bag. The defendant stated that they walked further into the woods. The defendant stated she had the complainant get on her knees. The defendant knelt behind the complainant, grabbed her hair with the defendant's left hand while utilizing the knife with her right hand, sliced the complainant's throat, causing a laceration. The defendant realized.
Guys, I know this is really, really low, and I didn't realize that it was that low. And I don't really have a way to turn up the audio without really messing up everything. You say, I hear it? Okay. Do y'all want me to keep playing it? If y'all can, let me know if y'all want me to keep playing it, or do you want me to stop and move to the next video? So I'm going to wait and see what y'all say, but it is just hard to hear. So I'm going to try to turn my audio off. I think I had some audio playing a second ago. So let me keep playing it, and I'll try to turn my mic off.
did not kill the complainant. She drove her motor vehicle toward the ravine inside of the park. The defendant stated they exited the vehicle. She grabbed a bag that contained a knife, trash bag, and a laundry mesh bag. The defendant stated that they walked further into the woods. The defendant stated she had the complainant get on her knees. The defendant knelt behind the complainant, grabbed her hair with the defendant's left hand while utilizing the knife with her right hand, sliced the complainant's throat, causing a laceration. The defendant realized the knife did not kill the complainant because the complainant began to scream and fight. The defendant stated that she immediately placed the trash bag over the complainant's head. The defendant stated that she had a hard time strangling the complainant and that she continued to strangle her for approximately 30 to 45 minutes. The defendant stated that the complainant yelled, "I've been good," and the defendant replied, "Stop fighting it." The defendant stated that she was able to sit on top of the complainant while covering her mouth with the defendant's hand, placing the trash bag over the complainant's head. The defendant stated that she then placed the complainant inside of the laundry mesh bag to carry her to the vehicle. The defendant stated she wanted to dispose of the complainant, so she decided to take her to the hospital. The defendant stated she wanted to end the complainant's life because she was an evil child and did not want to deal with her anymore. When officers observed the complainant, she had a laceration on her neck, bruising around the neck, eyes, and mouth. Your Honor, the state filed a motion requesting no contact with any witnesses, no weapons, alcohol, drugs, GPS, curfew, house arrest, for the defendant to surrender her passport or any travel documents, for the defendant's travel to be restricted to Harris County, no contact with anyone under the age of 17, no contact with any school or daycare facilities, to not supervise or participate in any activities involving anyone under the age of 17, to not have access to the internet, no cell phone or computer that has access to the internet, no pornography. The state is against a pretrial release under the Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 17.03, current violent offense. That's it, Your Honor.
All right, hopefully you guys were able to hear that. Can y'all hear that okay? If not, then I'll skip the video, but I'm going to let the rest of this play out real quick.
Thank you. These will be the bond conditions. She's ordered to appear in court, commit no new crimes. She's ordered to surrender her passport for a temporary deposit with the court. Her travel is restricted so that she must remain within Harris County and its contiguous counties. She's ordered not to use, possess, or consume marijuana or controlled substances or alcohol. She's ordered not to use or possess a firearm, deadly weapons, including knives or ammunition. She's ordered to submit to electronic monitoring with an initial curfew from 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m., which is...
Oh, and if y'all would, please click that thumbs up. We want to have one thumb up for everybody watching. Super easy to do. If y'all would, just click that thumbs up for me, okay? We got a couple more stories.
24-hour house arrest, only allowed to leave if she is going to court or pretrial services or seeking medical treatment. She's further prohibited from having any contact with any person 17 years of age or younger, and prohibited from going within 1,000 feet of any school, park, daycare facility, or other location where children may gather. Bond instead is in this case at $15 million.
Mother charged with brutally killing her own 5-year-old daughter teared up in court today as we continue to piece together the days leading up to this just horrible tragedy.
Yes, Melissa Towne remains in the Harris County Jail, but where she was in the days leading up to her daughter's death on Sunday, well, that remains a mystery. ABC 13's Maya Shea spoke to a woman who may help with this investigation. Maya live now in our newsroom in an interview that you will only see on 13. Maya?
That's right, Gina. You know, so many people have just cannot believe the details of what we've been telling you for the last 2 days about the tragic death of little Nicole. Her mother, of course, currently in jail, but people want to know where she was leading up to her daughter's death and frankly, how she got a hold of her child in the first place. We don't know all the answers, but this one woman in Montgomery County is shedding some light.
So they had tents and baby items all right here. Back here, almost against my fence.
Rachel Brown shows us the tract of unkept land along Goodson Loop in the town of Pinehurst.
For months, she has dealt with squatters on this property and nearby, but she just realized one of them was Melissa Towne, the mother charged with capital murder.
She just walks up and down the streets. You never know what she's going to have. She's going to have a toaster under her arm or pushing a baby carriage with a dog in it. I mean, you don't know.
Brown says she saw Towne just a few days ago. Amidst camping tents and baby items, she never imagined it would be the same woman as seen here, tearfully appearing in court for the first time, with a bond set at $15 million.
Well, the facts themselves indicate that the lady has some serious mental issues. And from my understanding, she's been institutionalized at least 9 times for mental health purposes. So there's no doubt there's some dark demons haunting her.
By all accounts, little Nicole was a loving child. Deputies say she was telling her own mother, "I've been good," even as she was allegedly trying to strangle her to death.
Her nickname was Pumpkin, and she didn't know a stranger. We would take her swimming at the creek, and we'd turn and she'd be trying to walk and go hang out with these other little kids, and she loved everybody and she wanted to play with everybody.
For Brown, she wonders if the child may have been among the squatters in camp in Pinehurst the last few days. She's tried calling Montgomery County authorities, but says so far she hasn't gotten much interest.
That's a real fear. She's always here, so why wouldn't she have had the child here? Why is there no evidence anywhere else? You know, I am concerned that the police are not putting some dots together.
ABC 13 reached out to Harris County authorities, who say they had not heard about this property where Towne was seen spending time, but will now look into it.
To a developing story, a mother accused of killing her 5-year-old daughter.
Melissa Towne made her first court appearance this morning. She's accused of stabbing her daughter to death on Sunday, and investigators say she did confess. KPRC2's Rilwan Belogan is live at the courthouse downtown. Rilwan, her confession was discussed in this court hearing, and so was her bond.
Yeah, Andy, Lisa, the district attorney's office didn't ask to raise Melissa Towne's bond, which was set by a magistrate judge at $15 million, because they believe that is sufficient. Now, today was the first time Melissa Towne appeared in courts wearing handcuffs behind her back as she approached the judge and her attorney. Her attorney says she was crying during the entire appearance. In court, the prosecutor recalled what Harris County Sheriff's Office said happened Sunday afternoon. This is when authorities say she confessed to killing her 5-year-old daughter, Nicole Bradshaw. Towne's attorney says he is immediately going to try and get a mental health evaluation because he says she has been institutionalized at least 9 times. Meanwhile, the prosecutor explains that despite the apparent confession, they're still investigating to try and get a mental health evaluation because he says she has been institutionalized at least 9 times. Meanwhile, the prosecutor explains that despite the apparent evaluation because he says she has been institutionalized at least 9 times. Meanwhile, the prosecutor explains that despite the apparent confession, they're still investigating.
We want to make sure that every statement given by a defendant is corroborated, especially when there are mental health issues involved. And so that's why we're still doing a very thorough investigation with this case. But the case will proceed as normal in terms of I need to make sure that after we get all of our evidence in, that's given to the defense so that they can prepare an adequate and just defense for their client as well, because that's the only way that the system works.
Right now, the bond issue is immaterial. Her mental illness and mental health is more relevant than bond, in my opinion.
Now, the defense attorney and prosecutors both say they will investigate all of the people who had access to the 5-year-old Nicole Bradshaw. Live from Criminal Justice Court, Rilwan Belogan, KPRC 2 News.
That's what I wanted to hear. He said that the bond and mental health is irrelevant, and I 100% agree. Here's what I don't understand, like what qualifies as mental health? Because you could take somebody like those people in Chicago, these gang members, couldn't you say that they're suffering from PTSD technically and mental health? I mean, think about it. They've seen death and murder and violence and gang stuff and drugs their entire life. And what do you think they're going to grow up and become? Model citizens? I wouldn't expect that, right? Couldn't that be qualified as the things that they're doing as mental health? They're not mentally in their right state of mind. They're not in a mentally healthy place. They're not mentally competent in the things that they're doing. No sound judgment. No, what do you call it? No remorse. They don't recognize life. No value in life. You could qualify damn near anything and everything stupid that somebody does as mental health. And at some point you would have to ask, where do we draw the line? When does it stop? When do we stop giving people excuses? Because here's one thing that excuses don't do as opposed to holding somebody accountable. And what is that term? What is that term? Judging someone. Right? The thing that they don't want to do, they don't want to judge and they want to excuse every damn thing. Those are two things that don't fix anything. They don't hold anybody accountable, and nobody will learn from the things that they're doing wrong. We have an established set of things that are right and wrong according to the law. We are to follow the laws of the land. If you don't follow the laws of the land, then I think you should be punished as such. But to skirt the laws and say, well, this person thinks a little bit differently, their mentality is a little bit different, and we should give them a little bit of leniency when it comes to how we charge them, and I just don't believe that. Especially when it comes to our children. If you hurt, murder, or abuse our children, I think it's the hell with you. I think it's lock and key, life in prison, or maybe even the death penalty under law to you. Period. To the family and friends and biological father who they talked about in that article that I read, I think it was khou.com, if I'm not mistaken. They said they want us to respect their privacy and respect their grieving. But I'm just wondering, because I'm pretty sure they don't want me doing this video, but I would have to ask, who had custody of this child? Whose responsibility was it to make sure that this woman, who was on record, had been institutionalized not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times, not 6 times, not 7 times, not 8 times, but a total of 9 times. A woman that on record, according to their word, had been institutionalized for this mental crap that's going on with her for nine times. And you allowed this woman to have access to this child? If you ask me, I think that's dangerous, and I think that might be considered criminal. Respect their privacy. While y'all are collecting $12,000 in GoFundMe off the death of a child, that you put this child in danger, right? Whoever the custodial parent was, whoever gave access to this woman, to this child, or to any of those children, place those children in the thug lion cage with this thug lioness who murdered, mauled, and killed her own child. Why? Because that's what the thug lioness does at the thug zoo. She should have never been a parent, and whoever kept plugging this woman up with kids, I think that they should be checked too. I think you had signs. I think you could look that woman in the damn eyes and think, you know what? I could go get my penis wet somewhere else. She's disgusting. She should have never been born with ovaries. She should have never been allowed to reproduce. She shouldn't be allowed to be in society anymore. She should have never had any more access to this kid. This baby could have been saved if they would have just done the right thing and prevented this woman from having any more access to all these kids that they just allowed her to just create just because her womb could do so. To baby Nicole, young princess, please rest in peace. R.I.P. Life in prison for this woman, ultimate penalty under law, I don't think would be a bad judgment. $15 million bond. Like I said, I don't even get the point of $15 million. They're saying, well, should we raise it higher? After you get past, what, $2 million? How about you just say no bond? That's dumb. You'll have some rappers that can make $2 million bond, some celebrities, some entertainers that can make $2 million bond, some people who own companies or businesses that can make a $2 million bond. To even the above average person, they'd never be able to afford that. I don't get the point. After $2 million, just say no bond. Maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe I'm just missing something. But again, I hope you guys will listen to Baby Nicole's story. Like, share, subscribe, and share her story. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. If you feel like I'm wrong, tell me exactly based on the facts what I said that was wrong. Don't tell me a little feelings were hurt. Because guess what? This little girl's feelings were hurt when she told her mom, I've been a good girl, and her mama said, I don't care. That's the real hurt. Guys, we have 5 stories to talk about tonight. We're going to move on to story number 2. So if we have any channel members or moderators listening right now, if y'all would, all I need you guys to do is every once in a while just keep people kind of abreast of where we are, and we're on story. We're on story number 2 out of 5. If y'all would let the people know that, please, that would be awesome. And here's the story that Facebook group I tried to add earlier. Apparently, they said that these type of missing children stories don't matter, apparently, because they rejected my post. I guess they didn't feel like these children that were missing were important. So we're going to talk about it anyway. How about that? Can we get a hashtag, date thugs, date death? When you date thugs, you date death. Someone, please. Let me check my volume, make sure we're good. So we're going to talk about it anyway. Okay, volume sounds really, really good. It's a little bit spicy, but I think it'll be okay. Oh, by the way, I need to do this real quick. We had someone very special who donated just now. And I'm going to shout her out right now. Let me see. So I want to say thank you to a special lady out there. Let me make sure that I can find it. Mama Rose, she loves you. Oh. I just read it, and this came by way of Cash App. So I want to say, if Barbara Fairchild is out there listening, I want to say thank you very much. Now, she doesn't always type in the chat, but she is out there listening, so she's listening with us. So, Barbara, if you're out there, I want to say thank you so much for not only showing support, but she says she loves me, and I love you right back, Barbara. If you're listening, definitely, truly appreciate your support. Appreciate you watching, and definitely thank you for your Cash App and show of support. Truly, truly appreciate that. But, Barbara, I just want to say that and give you a special shout out. So, hopefully you're out there, and hopefully you are listening. Let me respond on here real quick. And for anybody else who wants to show some love, I think everybody knows the links are in the description box. If you've never donated to a show before, feel free to do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, however you do it. Even small amounts are truly, truly appreciated. But like I said, we have people here who donate pretty regularly. Like I say, we just want to make sure that if you haven't donated before or showed some love before, if you want to show some support, it makes pulling up here and doing what we do so much easier. So when we got things we need to take care of, we can just go do them. When it's time to go help the kids, we can go do it. When it's time to take care of the bills, we can go do it. When it's time to upgrade materials and equipment and things, we can just go do it. It makes this whole world of things so much easier, okay? So let's get to this story. And this is the rejected story. I mean, I'm going to not call it that, but I'm still kind of in my feelings, I guess, on this story out of Cypress, Texas. Tried to post this on Facebook, and they rejected it. Von Shea said, thank you, everyone, for the donations, and welcome everyone coming in. Please click that thumbs up, y'all. Show some love. We're on story number 2 out of 5. We only got 375 likes. We want to have one thumb up for everybody listening. So if you're listening, click that thumbs up. If you can't chat, you might be new. All you got to do is subscribe, be here for 15 minutes, and you should be able to type. That's all you got to do. Super, super easy to do. So as a precursor, some of y'all have already heard, I felt a little bit kind of a way about this story because I tried to share it on Facebook in a group that actually said it was about missing people. So I thought, okay, we have a story about missing children, and maybe they will accept this, post it in there, and allow people that want to see the story, they can go check it out. They can come listen. Maybe somebody might be able to find these missing children. But for some strange reason, that Facebook group decided to decline my post. I don't know if it was because it was a Facebook Live, or YouTube Live. I don't know if it was because they felt like I'm just promoting. But I would think that if the topic is missing children and your group is about missing people, I would think that you would want to bring all of those stories in and just line them up and let people see the story, so that way we can maybe get some justice, maybe get some help, maybe see something and say something. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But with this story out of Cypress, Texas, Texas is taking yet another L. I am tired of Texas taking all of these L's, but it's necessary until we get some change out here in these damn streets, okay? Now, I need to let you guys know, if you've never been here before, that some of you might find my content controversial or offensive. My information is coming from the website abc7chicago.com, so thank you for the article. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of the story. The point is to use this as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. I'm going to have some choice words about some of these individuals, especially this individual who look like a thug, dress like a thug, and got tattoos like a thug, right? This story is absolutely insane. And a bare bone Amber Alert issued in Houston turned into an interstate search for 5 children and 3 adults. And now the mother and her boyfriend have been charged after they were found in Louisiana. So it sounds like they ran. Deputies with the Harris County Precinct 5 Constable's Office elaborated on the alert concerning 5 children who, along with 3 adult members of their family, disappeared at 5:30 a.m. Late Monday, a set of 16-year-old twins. Now, granted, they're a little bit older. I think the fact that they're older actually played to their advantage because they were actually able to escape. And that's why I've always said that we need to look out for our babies, because they can't speak for themselves nor defend themselves. And that's why it could be a good thing once these children get bigger and older, 14, 15, 16. Now they can speak for themselves a little bit, and now they can start to fight back a little bit more. So thank goodness for this. 16-year-old twins told deputies that they had escaped their home when they were allegedly handcuffed, according to the constable's office spokesperson, Jeff McShann. McShann said the twins, a boy and a girl, ran until they found someone to help them call police. So thank goodness for that. The twins told police that they didn't know their home's address because they haven't lived there long and allegedly hadn't been outside recently. That sounds like kidnapping to me, in a sense, or false imprisonment. I think that's the proper term, false imprisonment. The twins told police that they didn't know their home address at 16 years old. That's pretty telling. The constable's office said by the time deputies located the house, their 5 siblings were gone with their mother. Let me see if I can get their biological mother up on the screen. And don't let the smooth taste fool you. She's got a cute face, but she is a devil in disguise. Her name is Zakiya Duncan, 40 years old. I crack a lot of jokes about people looking older than their actual age. I wouldn't have guessed that she's 40 years old, because I'm pretty much 40 years old. That's her on the left-hand side of the screen. 40. I don't know, man. But she just got like a ton of Maybelline on and makeup. I don't know. And her boyfriend, and y'all ain't gonna believe this. Her boyfriend, who was described as their stepfather, Jova Terrell. Let me see if I can get his name up here so y'all can see how it's spelled. Which is that individual. We'll get back to those pictures here in a moment. Jova, kind of like Java, Java. So Jova Terrell. And he is 27 years old. And you'd have to ask, what in the hell is a 27-year-old doing with a 40-year-old? A 40-year-old with 5 kids. A 40-year-old with 5 kids. Now, I'm not going to let this alleged stepfather off the hook. But before we get to going out on him, let's talk about this alleged mother who has children whose ages are 7 years old, a boy, 10 years old, a boy, 12 years old, a boy, 12 years old, a boy, and 14 years old, a boy. I thought they said there was a girl in here somewhere. They said, McShann said that the twins, a boy and a girl, ran until they found someone. So I'm assuming one of those 12-year-old, no? A set of 16-year-old twins. What? How many kids does she have? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did she have 7 kids? Wow. Oh, wow. Unless I'm reading this wrong. So, again, 7-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 12-year-old, 14-year-old. So it sounds like she had 2 sets of twins. That would make 7 kids. Y'all go and look at the article, abc7chicago.com. Look it up yourself and tell me if I'm missing something. That sounds like 7 kids at 40 years old. So here's what I also want you to think about. Even the second to youngest child at 10 years old would still damn near make that this alleged stepfather too young to be the father of. That would have made him almost 16 years old at the time when this kid was born. The second to youngest. What about the one right after that, the 2 middle kids at 12 years old? That would have made him 15. I try to be real careful in situations where I say, grown people and the age gap should be within a certain range. Now, once you're grown, you do what you do. It's really a subjective thing. I'm being subjective here. I think it's weird. I think it's wrong just because the kids are in such close proximity to him. I think 11 years difference between her 2 oldest kids. And what the hell does it? And personally, I don't think men, and here's why I got to get on the men. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think that men should be fathers under the age of 30 years old. Let alone this fucking fool. Those are on his Facebook. Some of those pictures are old, but you can see he has a stupid mentality. I think anybody who takes pictures throwing up the middle finger are stupid people. Do you know some stupid people out there? Or some of you out there listening do this type of stupid thing? I think anybody who flips off the camera is just saying, screw whoever's looking at the picture. I just think it's weird. It's just my personal preference. But again, I don't think that any man under the age of 30 years old should be a father, should be getting any woman pregnant. I could even point the finger at myself and say that maybe I could have been a better father if I would have had kids after the age of 30. At 24, I did all right. We kind of crawled across the finish line. We did all right. I got 3 more years until my daughter is grown. We did all right. But could I have done better by my daughter if I would have waited 6 years? Financially, spiritually, emotionally? I think so. That's a rule in general. Test it out. Stop having babies by these young damn idiots who don't even clean their ass right, who don't have a sensible source of income. Let's go back and look at this. I ain't even read the damn story yet. I'm getting so mad. Look at this dude with this mismatched colored hair, these long dreads, tattoos all over the place, throwing up middle fingers and all of that stuff in the camera. I'm sorry to judge a book by its cover. Y'all can kiss my behind where the sun don't shine. I think that's the same thing, but whatever. But what do y'all think that this dude does for a living? I don't care if y'all don't like that I judge a book by its cover. What do y'all think he does for a living? I mean, what do y'all think? You think he owns a construction company? Do you think he does construction? Maybe some welding? You think he fixes cars? What does he look like he does for a living? You know what he look like he does for a living? Screw older chicks that are much older than him, that are in desperate situations. They got way too many kids that she can afford to take care of, so she'll sleep with anybody and everybody that'll accept her and her 7 kids. Like that fool. Like he just look desperate. Like, don't he just look lost in the eyeballs? You can just look in his eyes. Like his eyes are kind of like where the eyes should be here, but his eyes are like here and then they're like slanted. Like he's got like those molasses eyes. He got those slow people's eyes. I bet you that boy can barely spell his own name. Anyway, let's keep going. 5 kids are missing. 2 16-year-old twins got away. The 5 children were last seen in the Cypress area near Fry Road when the Amber Alert was issued. Duncan and Terrell are in the process of being charged with injury to a child and are being brought back to Harris County on Tuesday, according to the constable's office. Got a lot more to talk about. Now, according to ABC affiliate WBRZ, Duncan and Terrell were stopped in a silver Mitsubishi Outlander, which is the thing they were looking for right there. They ended up finding it at about 4:30 p.m. in Baton Rouge. So if y'all know how far Houston is from Baton Rouge, they were gone. They were gone. That's a good little distance. It's not super far. So if it took me, let me see. So it's about 4.5 hours from Houston. No, about 4 hours, 4.5 hours from Houston to Baton Rouge, because I've driven that route before. It's about 4.5 hours. So they were gone. But they were found. When the 2 suspects were captured, they only had 1 child with them out of the 5 that were missing. Duncan and Terrell told investigators that they dropped the other children off at a relative's house in Louisiana. Which I hope that's what happened. McShann confirmed that the remaining children were in fact at a relative's home in Louisiana and said Child Protective Services have been contacted. The twins are in CPS custody and currently in the hospital after deputies described them having bruises and appeared malnourished. Please understand that they said that they appeared malnourished at age 16 years old. Damn near at working age. Damn near at the age where you could damn near be going out to go get a job and go work and make money for yourself. And at least at the age where you know they're going to school, at high school, maybe even if they don't have a lot of money, they'd at least be able to get school lunch, school breakfast. At least 2 meals a day, even if they don't eat anything when they get home. But let me tell y'all why I find that even more strange. That they were being starved allegedly, because I think they had money. Let me show you why I think they had money. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm judging the book wrong again by its cover. But I want y'all to take a look at this big ass house. This house is bigger than the average house. Okay? I can't tell how many bedrooms this is, but I can tell y'all I've been to Houston, I've been to Baton Rouge, I've been all up and through Texas, and this is an above average house. Now, granted, this woman, unless this woman has a bunch of children by celebrity basketball players, which I wouldn't doubt, maybe that's how she was able to collect this with a shit ton of child support. But that is an above average house. I have no idea what this woman does for a living. I don't know what governor that she's probably gobbling cock on. Sorry. I had to do it. I'm sorry. Somebody is paying this woman for her goods and services. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. What do y'all think that she does for a living? I could tell y'all that dude... Look, y'all better stop laughing at me now, okay? That dude didn't look like he had a job that would take care of this type of house at 27 years old. She's 40. I mean, like what does she own? Like she owns like an ebony store or something? I don't know. She has to own some type of big business. Is she like a popular stripper I've never heard of out of Houston? I don't know. Maybe she got her OnlyFans popping, y'all. I don't know. But the reason I brought that up is just to say that if you live in that big old house, I would think that you would have at least enough money for food. So that would be intentional if you were preventing them from being able to eat, if you were starving them kids. It was also believed that the children's 18-year-old brother, Jamarian Robinson, was with them, but his whereabouts are not immediately disclosed. Duncan was sentenced to serve probation for her cruelty to juvenile charge in 2013 and later fulfilled the terms by 2020. The mother served probation for cruelty to children on record. But she got to keep the kids. Did the fathers fight for custody? Did they ask for custody? Why was she not forced to give up custody of those kids so she could collect benefits off of those kids? Hashtag babies for benefits. If you ask me, for all those children, whether it's 5 children or 7 children or 8 children, however many it is, I think the only reason that she was able to get that house is off the backs of those kids that she continued to abuse. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's look at these news stories. Let's go.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Somebody in the chat said, oh, wrong video. Somebody in the chat said that they believe that that house could have been Section 8. I'm going to say no way. I'm going to say no way. There is no way that that house could have been under Section 8. Let me make sure I got the right videos up here. I don't think I did. And I don't. So that one's not right. All right, here we go. Let's get it.
News as we begin live at 5 this evening, an urgent search for a family of 8 who were last seen in Cyprus.
Among them are 5 young boys, sparking an Amber Alert. ABC 13's Daniela Hurtado is live in Cyprus with what we know at this hour. Daniela?
Yeah, so we have few new details. I just talked to neighbors here. They say this family moved in several weeks ago. Many of them hadn't even interacted with the adults of the home. They're worried for those children. I can tell you the newest information we have. We just got these photos from Precinct 5 Constable's office. They're of the mother, the biological mother of the 5 missing children, Sakaya Duncan, that you can see on your screen, and her boyfriend, Jova Terrell. We're being told by the Precinct 5 Constable's office they're in the process of being charged with injury to a child, which is a first-degree felony. They are currently on the run with 5 of her children. Now, I want to take you to the names of those children right now. Here is what law enforcement are telling us. The first child is 7, Nicholas Menina, Satan Menina, 10 years old, Javon Menina, 12 years old, Xavier Menina, 12 years old, and Jared Menina, 14 years old. There's also the brother of those children. That's all according to law enforcement. That's 18. Jamarian Robinson is apparently in this car as well, along with the biological mother. Again, her name's Sakaya Duncan, and her reported boyfriend, Jova Terrell, who's 27. Now, I do want to take you one more time to the car. This is the car that law enforcement is looking for. We're going to show you on your screen right now. It's a silver Outlander Mitsubishi license plate. If you have your phone right now, take a photo.
So from what I already understand, they already caught him. But let's listen to this. I want y'all to listen from this neighbor. And I thought this was a very poignant interview. He speaks really well. He lives in this area. But I want y'all to hear from him. Here we go.
So what do you think? This is definitely crazy. We had no idea that happened at all. We've been here for about a month now. The family moved in about a week ago. They had kids. My brothers went to school with one of them. Everything seemed normal. We didn't really suspect anything at all.
Is it shocking? Like, did they seem like normal family?
It seemed like a normal family. We had no suspicion whatsoever. It seemed perfectly normal until just right now getting the news. It's a big, I don't know how to explain it. It's just crazy, man. It's very crazy.
Do you remember seeing the kids or any
yes,
interactions with them?
I believe the young boy's name is Javon or something like that. My brother goes to school with him. I think he was in 3rd or 4th grade, something like that. So me having brothers myself, I have a son as well. So it's just heart devastating for sure. For sure.
Pretty nice neighborhood.
Yeah, nice neighborhood. So, and they're actually still constructing houses right now as we speak. So for it's happening here in this community, it's definitely I don't know, it's unheard of.
You got the Amber Alert on your phone.
Yeah, I got the Amber Alert on my phone. I had no idea it was for Cypress. I kind of ignored it. But now knowing it was right here across the street is definitely terrifying.
What did you see this morning?
This morning around 10, we woke up to see, we saw police cars out front of our, residence. Went outside to kind of be nosy. We didn't really think anything much of it. I thought it was maybe drugs or something of that nature. But knowing kids are missing, I hope they're okay.
Yeah, is it kind of scary?
It's definitely scary. Me having a child myself, makes me just want to hang on to them. I just hope that they're okay.
Yeah. What's your name?
My name is Christian.
And your last name?
Hurd, H-U-R-D.
Now, why can't the news find people like this and do interviews like this whenever they're talking to folks? I like this. Nice neighborhood, nice looking young man, speaks very eloquent, very clear. Like, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I never really did speak that clear. I kind of spoke a little bit too much in the slang vernacular, and it just kind of became who I was. You know what I mean? And so it took me a while to try to kind of work my way out of it and speak a little more clearly. But like I said, if I could go back, I would much rather prefer to speak clearly, be understood, like this young man right here. Definitely really cool. They need to interview more normal people. I think sometimes, like, the news people be doing it for clicks and views. Like, y'all, look at this fool right here. Y'all not gonna believe what this idiot said. More interviews like this.
First name too?
K-R-I-S-J-E-N.
And how long have you lived here?
I lived here about a month and a half, now, so still fairly new.
And where were the cops and stuff today?
So we had we had 2 vehicles parked right here on this side, about 3 over here. We had an undercover across the street where the news person is right now. So it was about 5 or 6 cars total throughout the entire day.
Yeah, just all out here.
Yeah, all out here, yes sir, doing their work. So we had the gloves on, things of that nature. So, I hope the kids are okay though, for sure.
Thank you.
And tonight, as we come on the air, we are learning one child has been found
in Louisiana following an Amber Alert we told you about earlier for 5 children issued out of Cyprus 2 hours ago.
We are learning the suspects were pulled over near LSU in Baton Rouge. Matt Doherty joins us live from Cyprus. What happened to the other children, Matt?
Yeah, Mia, that's what investigators are trying to figure out tonight. I want you to take a look at some of this video. This is about 5 o'clock in Baton Rouge when they were captured. Only one child, as you said, was found with them. We don't know which child that is, though. The suspects allegedly told state police they had dropped off their other children with relatives. Now police are trying to find out if that's true. We're told Zakiah Duncan and Jova Terrell will soon be facing charges for first-degree injury to a child. We have not learned the details of what allegedly happened, though. The Amber Alert that was issued this afternoon is still in effect this hour. Authorities say 5 boys ranging in age from 8 to 14 were last seen at 5:30 this morning at their Cyprus home where we are right now. Again, when the suspects were captured this evening, only one of their children was with them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just got sent an email, and this is kind of sidebar, but I wanted to kind of talk about this because I did not know they were doing it like this. They have some Section 8 homes, 6 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. Shoot. For what they're charging monthly, man. Look, I had actually talked to a young lady in Miami, and shout out to that bartender that was at, it's either Playa or Playa in Miami Beach. But I was talking to that bartender. I think she's been out there maybe for like a couple of months. And she told me how much that she paid in rent and when she used to live in Boston. And I think it was closer to about $4,000 for, what, 1 or 2 bedrooms, something like that. And this is a 6 bedroom, 3.5 bath for less money than what they had in Boston. And this is in the Cyprus area. There's another one, 6 beds, 2.5 baths. Are you kidding me? But you know what? Maybe I can either blame myself or give myself credit. I can either blame myself or give myself credit for this. Y'all remember how I talked about in some of these places like in Ohio and Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, where you'll have these people who got all these kids and they live in like the crappiest places possible, right? Y'all have heard me talk about this? Section 8 always looks like bullshit. Always. So maybe I can't be mad when you got something like this. Big, nice, beautiful, well-built houses. I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at that because at least they're not living in squalor. That's a good thing. But damn, at the same time, I still think that that's kind of incentivizing people who are making bad decisions. Like, I think it's a bad decision when you don't have your life together, when you got to file for Section 8 and food stamps, when you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. The last thing you need to be doing is catching a nut. Maybe catch a job. Maybe catch a responsibility, right? Maybe ejaculation shouldn't be what you do with the majority of your adult life and procreating, right? Where are these type of houses for people who got excellent credit and no kids? Where their discount at? Huh? Where's the where's the incentive for people who decided, you know what, I got 2 kids, I've got enough, I'm tapping out. I'm tapping out. Maybe we can get the hookup somewhere.
Of course, this is a developing story. We're going to stay on top of it. We're going to bring you an update tonight at 10 o'clock. Lynn, Mia, back to you.
We're going to go out now to the Houston area. We're going to be joined by Fox 26 Houston reporter Matthew Seedorf with the latest on, Matthew, what is really just a stunning and crazy story, frankly. I mean, These two 16-year-olds, they escaped from a home and they were handcuffed. But before all that, there was this huge Amber Alert there in Harris County. What more do we know?
Yeah, Andrew, this is really just a disturbing and bizarre case, frankly. Late last night, we're hearing from police that two teenage kids came running out of this house behind me and looking for help, eventually finding a neighbor who called police, and then they said that they had been handcuffed inside the house, eventually leading to today's Amber Alert. Two teens hospitalized in the Houston area with apparent bruises and malnourished after escaping a home allegedly.
Now, granted, you pulled up that information for me, Tanea, and I definitely appreciate that. But I'm wondering, because this looks like just as big of a house, 6 beds, 2.5 baths. God, dog. And this looks like a house that's maybe about that big. But I'm wondering if this particular neighborhood also allows Section 8. I wonder if this particular house is Section 8, because I think that will give us more of an indication as to what's really going on in this situation. So, yes, they have some big, nice houses under Section 8, but I wonder if this particular neighborhood and that house are under Section 8.
Two teens hospitalized in the Houston area with apparent bruises and malnourished after escaping a home allegedly handcuffed. Late Monday, 16-year-old twins ran out of the Cypress home off Marina Alto Lane, found someone nearby for help, and called police, telling them they had been handcuffed inside. When authorities got to the home, their mother, 40-year-old Zakaya Duncan, and her boyfriend, 27-year-old Jova Terrell, were gone, along with the twins' 5 siblings, all boys 7, 10, 12, 12, and 14 years old, leading to an Amber Alert throughout the area.
The family moved in about a week ago. They had kids. My brothers went to school with one of them. Everything seemed normal. We didn't really suspect anything at all.
Christian Hurd recording this cell phone video Tuesday morning as police surround his neighbor's home.
It's definitely scary. Me having a child myself, it makes me just want to hang on to him, I just hope that they're okay.
Louisiana State Police finding the Mitsubishi Outlander near Baton Rouge Tuesday evening. 1 kid safe inside, 4 others okay, discovered at a relative's house. The boy's mother and her boyfriend both arrested, charged with injuring a child, a felony. So, Andrew, that couple is being extradited back to Houston and Harris County. I'm told the twins are in CPS custody tonight. Back to you.
Matthew, a couple.
Like I said, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like this woman had the 5 kids missing initially, plus 2 more. Sounds like there was 7 kids from a woman that's 40 years old. And then that means if the oldest kid is either 16 or 18, I don't remember which one they said. The 2 twins, the oldest ones that escaped, were 16, which would put the mother at 23, 24 years of age when she had them. And just kept making kids. Just round after round after round. Like, why? Why would you do that? You don't have a marriage. You don't have a husband. You don't have anybody making a commitment to you to take care of them. Why would you keep just having all these kids just because there is readily available semen around from men who would sleep with anything with a heartbeat?
Okay, so this was really a 2-state. Would you characterize it as a police pursuit as they were looking for this vehicle? They were telling residents to be on the lookout because 5 children were implicated in that Amber Alert.
In other news tonight, disturbing allegations of child abuse involving several children in Cyprus.
Authorities say 16-year-old twins escaped from their home yesterday where they had been handcuffed. When deputies went to the home in Cyprus to investigate, the mother and her boyfriend had fled with 5 of their children. Matt Doherty has been following this story all day, starting with the Amber Alert. He joins us now from Cyprus, where those twins were said to have escaped.
As of last update, the twins are still in the hospital. Authorities say they're both malnourished and bruised. Their mother and her boyfriend was arrested late this evening in Louisiana. Late this afternoon, Louisiana State Police arrested 40-year-old Zakaya Duncan and her boyfriend, 27-year-old Jova Terrell. Their capture followed a day-long Amber Alert that started at their home in Cyprus. The Harris County Precinct 5 Constable's office said when investigators showed up at the home, the couple was on the run. along with 5 of their children, all boys ranging in age from 8 to 14.
Somebody in the chat says she probably kidnapped the boyfriend too. And you know what? I wouldn't doubt that, because like how do you physically handcuff 2 teenagers? I'm pretty sure they're pretty sizable at this point. She not only handcuffed one, but both? Oof.
It's just crazy to see that it's right here in your community. It's definitely devastating.
Neighbors in the family's Cypress suburb were shocked. When the couple was eventually arrested in Baton Rouge, state police said they only had 1 child with them. It was later determined the others had been dropped off with family members. Duncan and Terrell are now facing first-degree injury to a child charges. This won't be the first time the mother has been arrested for alleged child abuse. Court documents from Louisiana detail a disturbing incident from 10 years ago. A then 5-year-old child of Duncan's was taken from school to a local hospital to be treated for burns to the child's feet, genitals, and other parts of its body. Doctors determined it was like burn. 5-year-old child of Duncan's was taken from school to a local hospital to be treated for burns to the child's feet, genitals, and other parts of its body. Doctors determined it was likely the result of being burned by hot water. Louisiana detailed.
Y'all hear this? That this woman tortured her children. Tortured them. I bet you they were probably scared of her and and knew they had no other place to go. She should never be allowed to be a parent again. Neither one of these damn idiots.
Disturbing incident from 10 years ago. A then 5-year-old child of Duncan's was taken from school to a local hospital to be treated for burns to the child's feet, genitals, and other parts of its body. Doctors determined.
I can almost guarantee you that she's probably doing that to those kids because those kids remind her of her child's father who helped give birth to those kids. And she might have been doing that to hurt that man, let alone the kids.
It was likely the result of being burned by hot water.
That's why it's so shocking for me that knowing that you have these colloquialisms like my body, my choice, where you can choose who sleeps with you, who you create kids by. It's all your choice at the end of the day. If you don't want to have the kids, you don't have to have them. So you brought them into this world on your own volition, your own choice, by yourself. And then you choose to hurt them like this and abuse them like this. That's not right, man. And if you guys are listening, do me a favor and click that thumbs up. If we could get 1 thumb up for everybody watching, it would help us greatly. Like I said, if you want to contribute, then you can. That's the easiest way to do it. Click that thumbs up if you're able to, please.
They went to Duncan's home. They found a 20-month-old infant wrapped in clothing with his hands bound. The only other person in the home was the baby's 4-year-old brother. During questioning, police say Duncan admitted she routinely disciplined one child by making the child get into a push-up position for periods of 1 hour, causing the child's hands to swell.
I know in the black community, a lot of us will look at that and say, well, what's wrong with that? Getting in a push-up position and making them do physical activities as a discipline, as a punishment. I got a very easy answer for you on that. You want to know what's wrong with it? If you as a parent cannot perform the discipline or punishment that you're making the child do, then the child should not be doing that punishment or discipline. That's easy. If you're going to go make them run laps, then your punk ass ought to be able to go run laps. If you're going to make them sit in a push-up position for hours until their hands swell, then you ought to be sitting right there next to them doing the exact same thing. If you're going to make them stand in the corner for half a day, for 24 hours, for multiple days, you ought to be able to do that your damn self. And yes, we've had stories where that's happened. If you're going to make them take a scalding hot bath, you jump in the bath yourself first. And if it's too hot for you to stay in there, then you shouldn't do it to your kids. Like, it bothers me, the fact that I know we have a lot of people that share these stories and listen to these videos and don't even understand that simple concept. If you want to know if your level of parenting is wrong, then let them do it to yourself. If you think it's okay to spank kids, then let your mate, your husband, or your wife spank you the same way that you spank those kids. And if you wouldn't allow somebody else to do it to you, then you shouldn't do it to the kids. Simple concepts. We're always learning here. I'm always trying to tell people to get out of these Neanderthal tactics that y'all think that discipline and beating on kids and punishing them is the way to go about raising them, and that's just not right.
The child was often forced to sleep on the floor of a closet. The door of the closet was...
Anybody who thinks raising kids that way is stupid. STUPID. All in capital letters.
Blocked by boards to keep the child from, quote,
stupid with the helmet on.
escaping and, quote, stealing food from the kitchen. Police reported at the time 2 of Duncan's other children also showed signs of abuse and were removed from the home. It's unclear when Duncan and Terrell will be brought to Texas to face their current. The closet was blocked by boards to keep the child from, quote, escaping and, quote, by making the child get into a push-up position for periods of 1 hour, causing the child's hands to swell. The child was often forced to sleep on the floor of a closet. The door of the closet was blocked by boards to keep the child from, quote, escaping and, quote, stealing food from the kitchen.
Let's talk about that. I've said this before, and I'll say this again. If you are a parent listening to the sound of my voice, if there is food in the house, there is no such thing as stealing food that is in a household that all of you guys live in. There might be moments where you might not want them to take certain food, access certain food. Just example, like if there's candy around, you want them to eat their dinner rather than eat candy first, then I think this is a thing that you have to start training children from the moment that they are born and train them in the way that you want them to go. So therefore, they understand the rules. They understand what you want them to do and what you don't want them to do. And yes, you ought to trust their judgment and let them make the decisions on their own at that point. You're raising them for life, and they will make some good choices and some bad choices. And that's part of the learning process. But what you want to do is you want to encourage them to think for themselves and not do things out of fear. They ought to make the right decisions, the smart decisions, and maybe understand what could happen to their bodies when they consume too much sugar. And next thing you know, they look up and they're 35 and 45 years old and have what? Liver failure, kidney failure, diabetes, getting limbs cut off. Real life consequences for decisions that you're making as kids. And we can have these real conversations with them and let them know, here's the consequences if you don't clean up your room. It's going to smell like butt crack. Nobody's going to be around you. And next thing you're going to know, you're going to get grown and you're going to be living in squalor, and your house is going to smell like that. Nobody want to come around. I'm not going to want to come around. You're not going to have any friends. People are going to talk about you. That's a real life lesson. You don't want to go wash the dishes? Well, how about all the nasty bugs and filthy things that'll crawl and consume your house if you don't? Real life lessons. Things that I've talked to my daughter about when her mom was struggling with her. We had these kind of conversations. Here's why you need to be doing these things for yourself. Here's why you need to take a bath. Here's why you need to brush your teeth. Want to get a bunch of root canals? Want to walk around smelling bad and people talking crazy about you? You can avoid these things by doing simple body maintenance. That don't mean you have to go beat them up or tape them to a wall or handcuff them or put locks on the cupboards and refrigerators. Right? Huh.
Police reported at the time 2 of Duncan's other children also showed signs of abuse and were removed from the home. It's unclear when Duncan and Terrell will be brought to Texas to face their current charges, It's also not certain what'll happen to the rest of the children this time.
So there is also one other thing that I wanted to bring up because I saw this as a screenshot. I didn't look at it thoroughly, but we can look at it together. See if I can find it. If not, we might skip it. I don't see it here. I thought I had a screenshot of a message, but I don't. But again, too many kids, not enough responsibility, and this mother clearly doesn't need to be a parent. She's already been in trouble before, still doing stupid stuff. Stupid is stupid thugs, and these two thugs need life in prison, but definitely need no more access to these kids. I don't know what they were getting ready to take them to Baton Rouge for to go do. I don't know. This whole thing just sounds like a hot ass mess, and I would absolutely love to find out like what the nature of this was. What were they trying to do going between Houston and Baton Rouge? How did they obtain this house? What did they do for a living? All questions I would like to know. But I guess we'll find out here maybe later on in court. But it is what it is. Thank you guys for listening to the story. It does end on a positive note where all of these kids at least have their lives, and be thankful for that, okay? Share the story. Thank you.